All right, hello everyone. Welcome back to Edge Sports Network. Today we got another interview for you guys, part of our summer series with Jake Koehnke. Air Force kicker just finished up his time there. Jake, thanks so much for joining us on the site today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Great to have you on. You're the first kicker we've had, so this is a special one. Big interview right here. A lot of pressure. You're the only kicker representing kickers everywhere, so um, big pressure on the side here today. I want to start. How'd you first kind of get into kicking? Growing up playing football, was that always your position? Did you always kind of want to be a kicker? What really led you to that spot?
So it's actually a really funny story about that. Most kickers they start out playing soccer, I'd say.
Hmm.
But that was never me. I never played soccer. Besides when you're 5 years old and your dad throws you in some like little soccer league or something with
Uh-huh.
your dad's coach or something like that. But I never was like a soccer player.
Hmm.
But basically it all started probably when I was 9 or 10 in Pop Warner, and I guess one of the coaches needed someone to kick, and I just raised my hand and said I'd do it. And ever since then, I was always the kicker, but I always played like like cornerback or
Hmm.
yeah, I think I was always a DB or I was like a little running back. I think
Hmm.
at one point too. But yeah, it wasn't until my junior year I think I just was a kicker because that's when I realized if I wanted to go play college football, my best shot was um, to do it kicking. So,
Hmm.
and I always punted too during this time.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, it wasn't until my junior year I was solely a kicker punter. But yeah, ever since, like I said earlier, probably around 10 years old when I raised my hand to do the job, um, I was training with coaches at that point. So we got Michael Houston.
Hmm.
He's a big name guy in Southern California that works with a lot of NFL guys. But I saw him almost all through middle school and high school. And then we got my other coaches, Brad and Alan Bond with West Coast kicking up in Orange County,
Hmm.
California. So I had no soccer background, so everything about my kicking style was trained from a kicker's a football kicker standpoint. So,
Hmm.
which in the end, honestly, probably was a disadvantage because a lot of those soccer guys are so natural.
Hmm.
Like if they lose a little bit of form, they're so natural with it. Just growing up playing soccer, they can kind of pull it together. Whereas like a kicker, a kicker that was just trained solely as a kicker, maybe they're more mechanical and they don't have like
Hmm.
um, that natural style kick that a lot of the soccer players do.
Hmm.
Um, so it's definitely give and take. But I was really lucky being able to work with from a young age those coaches that brought out a lot of NFL guys to kick with us, the young guys that
Hmm.
when we were little and stuff like that. So I got a pretty good gauge um, of how good I was or how much work I needed to do to get there. So because I remember being in middle school, kicking with Jason Myers,
Oh
who
wow.
he was on the Jets for a while. I don't
Hmm.
know what he's on right now, but every Sunday like he was there, and I'm in middle school and I was in high school too, kicking with him. Um, so it was definitely great having some good competition around and guys to look up to.
Yeah, I'd say while you might have not had that soccer background to start that early with those kind of opportunities, not every guy gets that chance. So you might have made up for it right there. I know, as you just mentioned, in high school and in college here, you were a kicker and a punter. That's a pretty common thing for guys to do, especially at the high school level, college level. Is it ever tough to switch between those two positions? I know they're obviously pretty similar. You're both kicking, but obviously different types of kicking. One punting, one extra points, field goals, kickoffs. Did you ever find any challenges kind of switching between those two spots?
I personally struggled with just like you just said, that transition, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
there on most days, if I'm like absolutely smoking the ball of kicking,
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of struggling punting, and if I'm just smoking the ball of punting, I kind of struggle kicking that day.
Mm-hmm.
That's just kind of how I've always functioned, and I'm not really sure why, but uh, that is just one thing all specialists got to deal with, especially now, and especially for the younger guys out of high school getting recruited. Like there's so many good kickers now that also punt, and so many good punters that also kick. So you can't
Mm-hmm.
just be the guy that kills one, because nowadays people are, killing both.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I mean, that's kind of where I struggled, I guess. I mean, maybe that's something, the coaches don't really see, because, I hit my ball and my ball was my ball. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, personally, yeah, like for some reason on the days I was punting really well, I wouldn't really kick to my fullest capacity.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it was tough getting into, because I was originally started out as a kicker, and it wasn't until like maybe eighth grade, or maybe freshman year of high school, my kicking coaches were like, "Hey, dude, you got to start punting,"
Mm-hmm.
just because with the competition and getting recruited to colleges and stuff like that, they want to see you do both. So I did struggle at first, but I didn't really take it seriously until I started going to all the college camps.
Mm-hmm.
And I still didn't even consider myself really a punter. I still like walked in the combo group of guys.
Mm-hmm.
As like some kids would stay with the kickers, like, oh, I'm just a kicker, or like just with the punters if they're just punters, But I'd always just do both, just because like my coaches told me to.
Yeah.
But I was winning a lot of the punt competitions, and then my dad and I remember, like, I think, yeah, it was the drive back from I went to the University of Arizona camp, and I won the punt competition there, and it was just super funny because, at the time that's when I just started punting, and my dad was like, "Hey, like, we're on the drive back to California."
Mm-hmm.
He was like, "Hey," he's like, "You better take punting a lot more seriously, because you just won that. Like, you might be a better punter than you're a kicker." So it's just kind of funny, but I mean, yeah, I guess the biggest thing for me was just trying to find the good balance between, me being a kicker in college, right? How much time do I put into both? But it really
Mm-hmm.
came down to, I just kind of split everything 50-50. Even when I wasn't punting, because I punted a little bit my junior year, but even like my senior year, for example, I still warm up punting. Just I consider that part of my warm up now. And if I did
Mm-hmm.
get my name called to go out there for a punt or something, I could do it. So
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
you obviously, the kicking and punting obviously has helped you. I mean, you settle on Air Force for a school here. I know going to academy, it's a big decision. I mean, what kind of led you to choosing that route? It's obviously a unique college path, kind of atypical from that normal college experience. So what kind of had you settled on Air Force? I mean, some guys, look to go into the military. They use it that way. Some guys just go there, obviously you played football there, so I mean, what's kind of the path you were planning to take, and what had you set on Air Force?
Yeah, so it's, like you just said, it's definitely a not the most common decision
Mm-hmm.
for athletes, especially football players, just because a lot of people might think like, oh, like a football player doesn't have like that military. They don't
Mm-hmm.
want to go to military school. Why would they do that when they go play football somewhere else,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I mean, yeah, for me personally, it never crossed my mind that I'd be going to a military school.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just funny because I ended up getting all offers from all three academies,
Oh
um,
wow.
and I didn't even, look that way at all.
Oh.
And that's not until I think I went out to visit my grandparents who live in Colorado, where the
Mm-hmm.
Air Force Academy is. And I ironically enough, during that time I was there, I had an invite for an official visit, and I checked everything out, and that's actually when I got more knowledge on what the school has to offer.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I was like just to back up, like I was like everyone else, in San Diego, like I was a surfer, I skateboarded, like I had no family members in the military. Like I seriously I had no idea about anything about it. And
Uh-huh.
after my visit, I saw, I have a guaranteed job.
Mm-hmm.
Not only do we have like the football mission, right? Like every college that you're gonna be playing ball for is gonna all be fighting for one thing, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
thought with the military, in addition to that, it was kind of an extra like team aspect. You know what I mean? Like we're
Mm-hmm.
all gonna have super cool jobs. We're all gonna be doing super cool things. Like a lot of the academic structure at the academies too are very similar. So we're all taking the same classes, and it's just there's a lot of unity involved with that.
Mm-hmm.
And and on my visit there too, I met some really good friends. And after meeting them on my official, I basically knew right then and there, I'm like, wow, like these are gonna be my best friends. And there's even guys that didn't choose the academy on that visit that I still stay in touch with, and I think that has a lot to do with the types of guys that the academies recruit.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone is just such a good person, and everyone is so willing to challenge themselves and do something really tough. But I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, like I saw that the academy was kind of gave me a step up compared to other schools in terms of
Mm-hmm.
my career. Because anywhere else you're not really guaranteed a job,
Mm.
and I think this corona virus is a prime example of what the academy did
Yeah.
that other schools don't do for their students, and that's guarantee them a job. When people
Mm-hmm.
got laid off for the quarantine and stuff like that, like we still had our guaranteed paycheck. So,
Mm-hmm.
there's that aspect too. And a lot of myself included, and my friends, like we didn't really realize what the academy had to offer until all this quarantine stuff happened. And we're like, hey, like we're super grateful to be
Mm-hmm.
in the position we are because, you know, we have stable jobs now. So,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you guys are in a good spot, and I think what's unique about the academy, I mean, there's this one concept that's always kind of come up when I've talked to guys who have played college football, and it's brotherhood. Being on a football team, they're all brothers. You go into battle every Saturday, but with the academy, I feel like you kind of get the best of both worlds because in the military, it's the same way. It's that brotherhood. So I feel like being on a football team at the academy, probably an unbelievable team experience right there. And when you're at the academy, I mean, you have to balance a college education with military duties. On top of that, you had football to deal with. I mean, what was that balance like? And did you kind of find that the military mindset that you were being taught at the academy kind of translated on the field? Did you kind of find that those skills that you learned off the field at the academy would translate on game days?
oh, absolutely. And that whole what you just described, like
Mm-hmm.
that was a reality check for a lot of people because of the military duties involved too, and especially academic. We lost a lot of people on the team
Mm-hmm.
because they couldn't take care of their military stuff or they couldn't take care of their academic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like everything they preach, like in the classroom or just like up on campus with all the in regards to health and military stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't take care of that, you're not going to be playing football. So that also adds to the brotherhood, and like that everybody that's on the team with you, like they gave they sacrificed a lot
Yeah.
to be able to wear the uniform, like the jersey that is. So yeah, it's definitely not like any other school,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, with the military thing too, like that adds a whole nother element that's super interesting that I think a lot of people don't see. Like I remember I was watching the Army Navy game, and the announcer was like talking about both teams, all the military stuff they have to do. They put their schedules up, and
Mm-hmm.
we're basically busy from like 7 in the morning to like 8 or 9 at night every night. And he
Man.
said one thing that kind of stuck with me. He's like, hey, this is one of the games, one of the only games in the country where we're both opposing sides will sacrifice their life for the same person, which is
Mm-hmm.
kind of hit me heavy because that's what makes the academies different, right? Everyone out there is in the military, and and most of us are going to be getting deployed at some point too in our
Mm-hmm.
careers. So, and I think a lot of people they don't see that when they're watching us on TV or something. We're just college football players, but no, we're doing a lot more than that, and some guys will be making the ultimate sacrifice. So.
Yeah, I mean that's a great line from that broadcast. Definitely, I could see how it would. I mean, I think it hits anyone just watching, but to actually be in an academy, I'm sure it hits you a lot deeper. And I know you mentioned this off the field stuff with the military. I mean, on the field you're really efficient too. 13 to 13 this season on field goals, 22 to 25 in your final two seasons. I mean, I don't think a lot of people realize this. But looking at kickers here, any level, I mean, just an extra point seems pretty tough to me. I mean, I remember I would go out on a football field with some of my friends and just try and kick an extra point from distance. I couldn't do it. I mean, I've never played soccer either. I'm not a kicker, but it's a lot harder than people look. To go out there be that efficient on field goals, I mean, let's just walk through it here. How is it being a kicker in that situation where you're trying to kick a field goal, especially in a big moment when all eyes on you? I mean, just walk us through the mindset of a kicker here when you're going out there, big kick. You're literally the focus of every fan in the stadium, every person watching. What is that like?
I mean, every kicker is going to handle that different, right? Some might
Mm-hmm.
take it more seriously than others. And, you know, I hate using that term seriously because I mean, we
Mm-hmm.
all have a job and we all take it seriously, right? But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for me personally, and I'm just going to speak for myself, like I kind of stay pretty loose out there. I don't really consider what um, any external factors. Like the only thing that's kind of goes through my head is, all right, you know, 43-yard field goal to, you know, to win the game, let's
Mm-hmm.
say. And, you know, me and my holder could be cracking jokes like, you know, running out there to go hit it. Like we're pretty loosey goosey running out there.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think a lot of, which goes against a lot of kickers' mentalities. You know, I think
Mm-hmm.
a lot of them might be, you know, got really locked in. They're not, you know, you can't go say hi, like wish them luck because they won't even respond, right?
Yeah.
They're going out there to go hit it. But I mean, yeah, maybe I'm a rarity. I really don't know, but I mean, leading up to it, right? Any third down, that's kind of what I'm waiting for. Third down and how long? Third down and how long? So
Mm-hmm.
usually when it's, you know, second and 10. Okay, so we got 10 more yards. You know, this might be a field goal situation. Let's say we got pushed back, so now it's,
Mm-hmm.
you know, 3rd and 14.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm probably, if we're in field goal range, like, right, I'll probably be gonna be hitting this one. So that's when I'll
Mm-hmm.
be taking maybe one or two into the net real quick.
Mm-hmm.
And no matter how those two in the net felt, I don't hit more. You see a lot of guys, you know, they'll probably start kicking and kicking and kicking.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, there's a lot too that kind of just, you know, they hang out and they're just, once they're warm, they're warm. But I'll do a couple in the net, and then yeah, no matter how those felt, you know, it's game time at that point. If it's, you know, 4th and we're gonna hit it. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, during that whole process, I'm talking to my holder. You know, we could be talking about what we're eating for dinner that night, right? Like,
Yeah.
that doesn't really change. The circumstance doesn't really change our mindset. And I think that's when a lot of kickers start to go downhill, is if they start, you know, freaking out about, they treat field goals different, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, 43 to win the game. Oh my gosh, this, you know, everything's on the line right now versus, you know, I don't know, a 43, just, you know, first quarter, 42-yard field goal, just go hit it. They're more relaxed, but I try to treat everything the same. And, you know, I feel the same way hitting a PAT as I do hitting a,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I don't know, a 37. Like, I try not to separate the two.
I feel like that's the way to be. It definitely worked out for you. I mean, you were really efficient, kept your composure. I also read you're a huge music fan. You play guitar, performed in a band. I read that you were a little nervous for a live performance here. You know, being a kicker, um, your nerves haven't really gotten you on the field. You know, clearly 13 to 13 on field goals this last season. But I know you're in a band. I mean, I gotta ask, what is that like? What kind of led you to music? And how is it performing live? Like, what's the difference between football and a band? As I said, I know you were a little bit nervous for the band performance, which kind of surprised me since you're going out there making kicks in front of thousands. But I mean, how's that experience been for you? Again, what kind of led you to your passion of music?
So yeah, I grew up. I think my passion for music started when I used to race motorcycles back in the day. Like,
Oh,
I'm
wow.
talking, like, I think 5 years old to probably 9 or so when I started playing football.
Hmm.
I mean, it was nothing serious. Like, I was just, you know, a little kid and his dad. Like, we had a little 50cc
Hmm.
motorcycle. We go road trip out to the track and stuff. But we'd always have like Metallica in the car, you know, something kind of heavy like that.
Hmm.
So I was always listening to that, and then I think that's just kind of what kickstarted my passion to play guitar, just because a lot of those heavy songs, you know, they have like those famous like Metallica guitar riffs or something like that.
Hmm.
So I think that's kind of what led me to pick it up. And I was kind of on and off with that through like high school and everything. I think in high school I didn't really play that much, but I always just had a guitar.
Hmm.
And then I kind of got, with all the limited free time I had at the academy, right? If I was just in the dorm just doing nothing, I kind of just pulled it out one day, and I kind of felt bad about what I was missing out on, because I haven't played like basically at all leading up to that point, even though I had it.
Uh-huh.
And then I just started practicing when I had time, and you know, I ended up getting all right. And then I actually ran into some guys out in town that had a band, and I was joking with them, saying like, oh, you know, if you need a guitar guy to fill in, let me know. And we ended up like exchanging social media and stuff like that. And basically 6 months later, the guy DM'd me and was like, hey man, we lost our guitarist. So you be serious about this? come by for a tryout, and they had me learn one of their songs,
Mm-hmm.
and they sent me like the music for it, like how to play it, and then I basically showed up, and they're like, all right, man, let's see it. So I played it for them, like, all right, man, like, you're what we need, and I kind of took it head on from there. I got really unlucky though with all the Corona stuff and the
Mm-hmm.
quarantining, because we had a few shows lined up and it
Oh.
got canceled, which is definitely a shame because I was really looking forward to those, but it is what it is with where we are in the world right now. But
Uh-huh.
I mean, back to the whole relating it to kicking. I think it just comes down to that I was kicking for so long, and the guitar thing was kind of new. I still had the nerves for it,
Mm-hmm.
because I mean, even like I'll tell you right now, like I was more nervous to play for these guys on the guitar than I've ever been kicking,
Wow. See, I
and
wouldn't
I don't
expect
know how
that.
to.
I wouldn't expect
Yeah,
that because yeah.
I didn't expect it either. Like I was literally standing there in a little 12 by 12 room, like a practice space, with the drum set and everything, and like my knees were shaking. Like, and this
Oh
even goes
man.
back to like I don't even know. I guess I'm kind of weird with stuff like that. Like even our senior banquet, postseason, when we, all the seniors get their names called, we get our jersey, walk up there, all that stuff, and like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm standing up there handing my jersey while our head coach, Coach Calhoun's up there, like saying a little something about me or everyone else, and
Mm-hmm.
like my knees are totally shaking up there. But I'm telling you right now, like me kicking, like that is just I don't know what it is. I guess it's like a blessing, right? Like I feel nothing
Yeah.
when I'm out there, but like anything little, like me standing up on a stage with all of our family members, like I'm totally nervous, like my knees are shaking, and me in a room with four guys, and I'm on a tryout for a guitar spot, like I'm totally nervous up there too. So it's just kind of weird. But yeah, definitely a weird correlation there, and I think that when I tell people that, they're really surprised, and it even surprises me too.
I am really surprised, I'll admit, but I mean, it might be that thing where it's just like you kind of feel more attention's on you when you're in a room with 3, 4 people, small room, as compared to that huge stadium in front of thousands, just playing football. But I know you've had a ton of success in your college career. You actually had an interview with the Colts. I mean, what was it kind of like having your first taste of the NFL? That's really what every guy dreams of growing up. I know you said you started playing football at a pretty young age. So how'd that feel to just kind of realize, oh my God, I'm finally at that spot in my career where it's becoming real.
Yeah, it was definitely incredible. And like you just said, like every little kid, no matter what sport they play, they're in the back of their mind, or who knows, maybe that's their main goal from the start. They're always
Mm-hmm.
thinking like, oh, like playing pro sports, pro this, pro that, and it was definitely incredible to be at that the next stage, right? You finish
Mm-hmm.
everyone at first, your first step is to like play varsity high school. The next step is hopefully play college football, no matter what level that is, and then at that point, yeah, the next step is the pro stuff, and not a lot make it.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely felt blessed to have an interview with the Colts, and even on my pro day, being able to talk with I think we had like 15 teams there.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to perform in front of those guys was absolutely insane, and people only dream about that, and especially at the academy too. We only had with us at least, we had three guys, including myself,
Mm-hmm.
compete that day. So I was the only kicker. So to have all those scouts just dead silent in the room in our indoor facility watching me kick, like that,
Mm-hmm.
that's like a college camp, and you got like the special teams coach and 50 other kids, like that. It's a total different level. And at least with my pro day, like it was so quiet. No, you could hear a pin drop. Like it was,
Oh man.
it was just me just horseshoeing around the field, and yeah, it was just an honor to be able to do that. And back to the Colts thing, it's definitely strange with the it was a virtual interview, but
Mm-hmm.
which was kind of it is what it is with all the Corona stuff, right?
Yep.
But it was definitely insane, and just to even get a call from any team, that it's incredible, and that's going to be one of my greatest memories for sure too.
Certainly a special moment. Not a lot of guys will ever experience that. So to even have that opportunity, I mean, just goes to show all the hard work that you put in has paid off. I want to finish up on 2 questions here. First one is a fun one. Second one, maybe you've thought about it, maybe you haven't really realized it. Might be a little bit tough. Might have to think about it. We'll see. But first question here, you got to have some fun with this one. If you could hit a game-winning field goal against any team in the league, I mean, what team would it be and why?
That's a good one.
Yeah, it might be a little tough. Might be a little tough here. If you have an intense hatred for a team, feel free to pick it.
I'm gonna have to pretend that my whole team is watching right now, and I'm gonna have to go with West Point just because we hate those guys. Army. I'd have to get against Army for sure. That was the first team that came to my mind. So, they're always giving the Air Force crap. They call us Chair Force. So.
Oh, gee, you got to
Yeah,
get the game. You got to get the game-winning kick in there. Then you got to.
yeah, so I'm gonna have to go Army for that one.
That's a respectable answer. I'm sure your
Yeah.
team would be behind you on that too. So
Yeah.
you have to go.
Like all the academies are brothers off the field, but when it's game day, like we hate those guys.
Oh yeah, I mean you gotta have those in-game rivalries and stuff. It's one thing off
Yeah.
the field, but once you guys get on the field, I mean it's strictly business, and you guys got to go at them. So I like that answer. I'm sure your teammates
Absolutely.
would like to. So definitely a good one right there. I was hoping it would be another academy because that gives a lot of depth to the interview here, gives people a rivalry to look at. So talking a little smack right there. I like it. I like it. But to finish up here, if you could take one thing away from your time at Air Force, not only football wise, but kind of just life wise in general. I mean, what did kind of Air Force teach you, and what are you gonna hold with you for the rest of your life?
That's a good one too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to say my experience working basic training. So
Mhm.
when all the freshmen in process, they have to go through basic cadet training. It's what everybody does. You
Mhm.
show up, I think it's June 31st out of high school, so you're cutting your summer kind of short there.
Mhm.
You show up, and that's when, I don't know if you've seen pictures of like the famous footsteps where you get off the bus and they first teach you how to stand at attention and just basically do all the military stuff.
Mhm.
That I wasn't good at all, and I'll be the first to admit that. Me being the California boy, but I had a chance my junior year to. Let me back up. Sorry about that. So the people in charge of that basic training are cadets. So
Mhm.
it's overlooked from like actual Air Force officers, including and enlisted too. But so basically it's run by adults. But when you first show up, you don't realize that, at least for me, I didn't really realize that these are my future classmates that are screaming in my face and stuff like that.
Mhm.
They're juniors and seniors. So I had me and all my buddies on the team, we had an opportunity to do that. So it was like me and like some of my best friends. They're called cadre.
Mhm.
And it's basically just flipping the table. Like now it's our turn to kind of be the one training the freshmen when they in process over the summer
Mhm.
in basic training, and just being able to, at least for myself when I was a freshman, I looked up so much to my cadre,
Mhm.
and I was lucky, and I had great leaders that were in my face every morning, or giving me a high five behind the scenes, that saying that we did good that day. So
Mhm.
I really looked up to mine, and when you're in it's such a controlled environment, and you're waking up at 4 in the morning and you're going to bed at 10 at night, and
Mhm.
they wake you up, they put you to sleep, they teach you everything, like you start to have a great respect for them, and you really do everything you learned at the academies. Basically, it kick-started from them, and so I kind of wanted to give back and have an opportunity to do that. So definitely working basic training as a cadre, and being able to help convert the basically civilians into the military / cadet way of life was definitely something that had a major impact on me, and just being able to contribute to them and have and be someone that they look up to, and who they look to for direction. So that was definitely one of the coolest experiences that I had, that I'll definitely cherish forever.
The military academies, I mean, the things they teach, honestly, just amazing. And I'll tell you this, I know I could never do it. I mean, when you just said waking up at 4 a.m. right there, right out the door for me. Right out the door for me. I know I could just never do that. And this is something you guys do on a daily basis, and it's not even the hardest thing you do, waking up at 4 a.m. Not even the hardest thing you guys do by far. So, just the amount of respect that I have for not only you, but every guy at a military academy is just like through the roof because I could not imagine doing it. Not only that, but being able to balance everything. I don't even know. I don't even know how you did it. I don't even know how you threw football on top of that. But I mean, congrats on a great career at Air Force. You're certainly going to the next level here. I mean, you're at that stage in your career now where NFL is the next step. You know, military obviously still a possibility. So, I mean, congrats on your time at Air Force. Congrats on everything. Longest interview we've had on the site here. So right now you are the champion. You've set a great standard for kickers on the site here too. I don't think anyone's going to match up with this, but Jake Koehnke, thanks so much for joining us on the site. It was absolutely great to have you on.
Yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate the time.
No problem at all, guys. We'll put Jake's Twitter down below so you can go give him a follow there. We'll also put a link to Air Force's football page if you guys want to follow for news and updates. But guys, thanks so much for joining us here on Edge Sports Network, part of our summer series. We hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are enjoying the series. And as always, we'll see you guys next time.